All right, I am excited for my guest today. Drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates back in 2018, a pitcher in their farm system, host of your own podcast, the Minor League Take, part of the More Than Baseball family. Brad Case, how's it going, man?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
How has your first couple weeks of the minor league season been for you?
It's been good. I was lucky enough to break camp with AAA this year, and in spring training, I was given the opportunity to go back up some big league games, so that was a ton of fun. Um, but I was in AAA for the first month, and then some roster moves had to happen, and so now I'm here in AA Altoona right now, playing with these guys. And just trying to slowly work my way back. It's been interesting. It's been an interesting past week. We were gonna record originally last week, but
Yeah.
I got all banged up with travel coming back from Iowa to Indy, and that was just one hell of a journey.
Yeah,
So
no, and I'm excited to talk to you about that. You mentioned you broke camp, and you had some spring training games with the big league camp. How was that experience? Just getting to play with some of the major league guys. Was there anyone there, like in particular, that maybe you were able to talk to and try to get some pointers and tips from?
it was really cool. My first experience with it, we went to Dunedin to go play the Blue Jays,
Hmm.
and I'm like, this is really cool. Like the whole time, I'm like, man, this is awesome. I'm excited. Um, and we're walking out there to shag BP and just hang out. And I take like two steps onto the field, and I'm like, holy shit. And I immediately like felt like some fear, some nerves, all that stuff starting to creep in, and I'm like, something came to me in that moment. I was like, okay, whether I'm good enough to be here or not, I have to tell myself I am.
Yeah,
Like reality doesn't matter at that point. I just have to convince myself that I'm good enough to be out here with these guys, and I'll be just fine. Um, and once I told myself that, I felt so much better. Go out there, shag, hang out, talk to a couple of the big leaguers, talk to Anthony Bonda, talk to Sam
hmm
Howard. Um, they're really great guys. The whole Major League Club is. I've had nothing but great experiences with those guys so far. Um, so I was just excited for the opportunity, hoping to get in. But when you go to back up big league games as a minor leaguer, you're pretty much there in case somebody can't finish an inning, so you jog
yeah,
out there. But I wasn't asked to pitch that game. But then a couple weeks go by, I back up a couple more games, don't play. But I finally got to pitch in one right in the last week of camp, and that was a ton of fun. Um, Early in camp, Oscar, the pitching coach, told me that he was going to try to grind me an inning somewhere, and sure enough, he did. Um, and that was a lot of fun. Just hearing the walkie-talkie going off, get Case going right now, and I was like, holy shit, I'm all excited, and told myself the same thing again. Just hey, whether I'm ready or not, I have to tell myself I'm good enough. So warm up in the bullpen, jog out to the mound, and get 2-0 on the first guy I face, and I'm like, fuck, I'm like, dude, do not be walking guys right now. I'm like, literally let this guy hit the ball. Like, it doesn't matter. And I throw strike one, and he fouls it off. I throw strike two, he fouls it off. I'm like, all right, 2-2. We can get back in
hmm
this count right here. I threw him a change and he struck out, and I was all geeked up. I struck out the
yeah.
first guy I faced.
Do you know? Was
Um,
it a big leaguer or just another minor league guy?
no, I was a minor league guy.
Okay,
Um, especially in the end of those spring training games, it's usually all minor league guys.
right.
This was the ninth inning, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then the next guy comes up, strike one, strike two, strike three, strike him out. And then the next guy hit a ground out, and I came off the mound, and I would like had a smile like ear to
Mhm.
ear. Pitcher coach comes up to me, he's like, "Holy shit, Case, that was fucking awesome!" And like, it was all pumped. It was a really cool experience. Definitely something I'm gonna remember for a long time.
Yeah. Did you get to face any major league guys like from the Blue Jays or any other team that you're like, okay, I actually was able to strike out, so and so?
No, I faced a lot of guys that have now made their major league debut. Royce Lewis last week made his debut. Faced him. Trevor Larnick, Jared Kelenic,
Wisconsin guy.
Estevan Florial. There's honestly a long list of guys that
Mhm.
I've been lucky enough to face that are now major leaguers. But
Yeah.
the only guy that I've ever faced that was an active big leaguer, there's only two guys. It was, oh, man, what was his name? Something. He was an outfielder with the Braves a couple years ago. Johan Camargo.
Uh,
I think
maybe.
I think that's the name. I remember I got him out a couple times, and then last year I was lucky enough to face Gio Urshela
Okay, yeah, from the Yankees.
as
Or
he was
no.
doing rehab games down in Double
Yeah,
A.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome. And you're a Yankees
yeah,
fan.
and I got to
That's
face
awesome.
him. I was a Yankee fan, yes.
Yeah, you are. You were. You were.
Can't
Let's clarify.
exactly. Yeah, I can't anymore. But that was really cool. Because I got like 3-1 on him last summer and was like, all right, 3-1, don't walk him, Brad. Like I gotta really give him something right here. And I just gave everything I could right down the middle, and he swung right through it and fell. And I was like, holy shit! Like I just got one by Jew or Shell. Like that's
Yeah,
awesome. And I'm like, all right, 3-2. Like if I walk him here on a fastball up, I'm cool with that. So I
yeah.
just reared up and let it rip up at the top of the zone. And I just swear I thought I got it by him. And he just slowly just poked his bat out barely and blooped it over the first baseman's head for a double. I was fucking pissed.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
Those are
It
the
was pretty
worst
cool though.
ones too, where you're like, even like as a fan watching those, you're like, how did he just make contact? And then yeah, that's just
It's
the
a
game of
double,
it
yeah.
sometimes.
In
Yeah.
the book it's a line drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It
So
was pretty cool.
let's talk about your podcast. How did that come about? You obviously do a great job. You've had it for I think what 2 years now.
Yeah,
Um,
I've done in the off season of 2020 and the off season of 21.
okay,
And really where it started as like I would just playing pro ball, I would talk to guys and I started realizing like how different a paths everybody's, takes to get here.
sure.
The first 3 episodes I think were the perfect encapsulation of the broad spectrum of journeys. The first episode's Jojo Gray, who is a big leaguer now with the Nationals. He's one of their starting pitchers. He's unbelievable. He's gross. Go check out him.
He was in the
He
trade,
was
right? The Scherzer trade, or no?
he was in 2 trades. He was a second rounder with the Reds,
Okay,
traded for Puig and a bunch of other guys
was
over to the Dodgers, made it to the big leagues with the Dodgers, and then traded for Scherzer. So he's always been a high value arm.
Mhm.
Guys have always seen how good he is. I just, it's fun just, be able to watch like Pitchers Nation on like Instagram and like he's popping up, throwing nasty sliders, punching out Mike Trout. So it's been cool. So he's the first episode, and he was he went to a D2 school just like me, and but he went to school up in where'd he go? He went to Lemoyne in like upstate New York, like
Okay,
Syracuse.
yeah,
Ended up being a second rounder out of there, and then has just been crushing it ever since. And then after that, I've got like Joe Jakes, who's almost he was like a couple weeks from not even playing college baseball, and decided, you know what, I want to play college baseball, and ended up being a 5th-year senior being drafted by the Pirates, and he shot through our system and was in AAA all year last year. And once he gets healthy, I'm pretty sure he'll make his debut this year. And then lastly, the third guy I had on was Mason Martin, who is just destroys baseballs and destroys the weight room. And he was a high school prospect drafted, so he's been killing it the whole way through.
So when you get your guest on, a lot of them have been guys you've played with or
Yeah.
Are any of them ever like hesitant to come on? Like I don't know, I don't, or you get pretty.
Yeah. I feel like most guys do it. Most guys that do come on are like, yeah, sure, Brad, like you're my boy, like of course I'll come on and do it. But for the guys that are like, nah, I don't want to do it, I totally understand. Because baseball players, we're pretty private people
Yeah.
for the most part. I think I'm definitely one of the outliers for having a podcast myself. The few baseball players that are outspoken, the one that is outspoken is in a lot of trouble right now, so it's going to be even less popular to be active.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then you were with More Than Baseball. How'd you get, because I mean, I just had Simon Rosenblum Larson on
Yeah.
last week.
He reached out to me. I haven't talked to him in a while, actually. I still always tag him in all the posts I make, just because I know they have a huge following. So, hoping, since we've partnered and they're my official sponsor on every single thing, although I'm seeing you're sponsored by SeatGeek, which is a lot damn cooler than what I got. So
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, SeatGeek, yeah, I'm sponsored by SeatGeek. That's more like an affiliation, kind of like every time someone uses like a coupon
discount code. Yeah.
Discount code. Yeah. But I also sponsored by but more on the financial side by Durham's crypto. They're Durham Sports Crypto. They've sponsored over 80 minor leaguers.
Oh wow.
They actually partnered up with More Than Baseball. That's kind of how I kind of got in touch with them. They partnered up with Adopt a Minor Leaguer. Yeah, so
Okay.
this past off season, they've sponsored, I think, over 80, if not just about 80 minor leaguers so far. So yeah,
Damn.
this podcast is sponsored by them. But yeah, no, I'm glad that, and we'll talk about this kind of in depth, but I'm glad that there's more like awareness of kind of like what's going on here in the minor leagues.
Yeah, it's I mean, I remember when I first signed, I was just kind of like, wait, I'm gonna make how much money for how long?
Yeah.
What? Um, I mean, they've done a lot of, they've taken some good steps. I mean, they've nearly doubled our pay
Hmm.
since my first full season. They pay for our housing now, which is just a huge relief. The housing they set up for us in Indianapolis was unbelievable. Oh my God. That's the nicest apartment I've ever lived in my life. I was incredibly thankful for that. So they're definitely taking steps in the right direction. I would love to see momentum carry, and for bigger and bigger things to continue to build. Advocates for minor league baseball, I think, are
Yeah.
I think they're the ones that are going to be the driving force to push anything over the finish line. So I'm excited to see what they have coming down the pipe here in next couple months.
Yo, absolutely. And like I think I have one of their guys coming on the podcast. We're still trying to work out a time for that to work out. But yeah, like I said, there's so many things that are now opening like our eyes and like the eyes
Yeah.
of the fan base and stuff. But let's jump into your high school, or when did you start playing baseball, and kind of like when did you realize that you were good enough to possibly make a career out of it?
So I'm going to let you steal this one. All right. I like to call this like the if to when moment.
Yeah.
For a lot of guys. And it's, if I get drafted, that'd be so cool. Like if that happens, that'd be awesome. And then you slowly start to turn into, oh shit, you mean when I get drafted?
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
when all my dreams come true, when all this stuff becomes a real reality instead of just this fantasy, on this far, far mountaintop. Yeah. So my, in high school, my junior year of high school was not good. It was, I started out that year as like, hey, come out of the bullpen once in a while and like just be the big guy that throws hard. And I legitimately would like just throw it off the backstop every once in a while because I just had no idea where it was going.
How hard were you throwing in high school?
See, for New York, it was gas. New York, it was like 84, 85, and everyone was like, whoa, that's a big deal. But I know now, like kids in Florida, kids in
California,
Texas, California were like, oh, I was throwing 95 when I was like
yeah.
in like eighth grade, dude. Why weren't you throwing harder? And it's just kind of how New York baseball is. Like if you can throw 85, it's gas for them. So that's kind of how my year started out as a junior. And then the year continued. I got a couple start opportunities and it was just terrible. And I was like, yo, I'm not good at this, but damn it, do I want to like keep trying? Go to summer ball, pitch much better, get some offers. And I decide I have a bunch of offers and I actually decide, you know what, I'm going to go to D2 Rollins College because they have a good education and I am never going to play pro ball. So I should just go take the safe road. And sure enough, I come back for my senior year of high school and the guy that's supposed to be our best pitcher, Lucas Maldonado, he unfortunately gets Tommy John in the fall and he's not going to be ready for the spring. So all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta step up here. And that year I figured out something. And I was just on it. I had like a 1 ERA, like a 0.7 whip. I won MVP for New York City. A lot of things changed all of a sudden. I was like, holy shit, like I can't believe any of this is happening. But the real, like the moment when I started like really believing in myself and starting to be confident was when I went to college and we had like running one day. I do all my running, whatever, with the team. And this kid, Chris Corbett, he's our starting catcher. He's going to get drafted by the Giants. Everyone like knows him. He's the best guy. He's the greatest dude ever. Like he's the nicest guy. He's Mr. Popular. Everybody knows him. He's just the man. And he stops me after practice. He's like, hey man, like, why don't you just hang out for a second and just like stretch a little bit with me? I'm like, yeah, sure. What's up? I'm talking to him. And he's like, what's your goal for this season? I'm like, I don't know, make the varsity team because we had a JV. I'm like, I just don't want to be on JV. Like, I don't want to be down there. And he's like, that's not good enough. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, okay. all right, I want to be the closer. I'm like, that'd be pretty cool to be the closer. He goes, okay, not good enough. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, all right, sure. I want to be the Friday night guy. And in college, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And he's
Oh yeah.
like, perfect. He goes, try to be the Friday night guy. I want you to work every single day with that as your goal. And I was like, shit, okay. All right, I'll try. And slowly but surely, I started getting better and better. I gained like 6 miles an hour out of nowhere. And before I knew it, I was pitching game two every single weekend as a freshman. And I was like, holy shit. And I know it's D2, but the Sunshine State Conference is no joke with Tampa and Nova and Barry and
Oh
Lynn.
yeah.
And this basically, if you are at a big D1 and things aren't working out great, you transfer to a D2 and you crush it there. There was a guy that was, there's a couple guys that went from pro ball to D2. It
Wait,
was
what?
crazy. Yes. I swear to God, there's this
How did
kid.
that how does that work out? Like if you get drafted out of high school and then they
Yep. I get there and I find out that you go from pro ball to D2. And there's this kid, John Silviano, who got drafted by the Marlins, I want to say, played for 3 years, got cut, and then showed up to D2 Lynn. And I think he hit like 30 home runs in a 50-game season. 30 home runs in a 50-game season. It was nuts.
and he got drafted again or no?
He got signed as a free agent after that.
Okay,
I
he
think
can't
you
get
can only
drafted
get drafted and
yeah.
signed once. But still, it was crazy. And I remember as a freshman, I was like blown away with some of the stuff I was seeing. But that conversation with Chris, that's really the moment I started going, okay, let's see if I can actually do this. And by the end of the year, by the end of my freshman year, I was like, damn, I think I'm starting to get a shot at this.
So in high school then, like you mentioned you weren't good.
Yeah.
Your senior years when things kind of started to kind of fall into place. What schools did you visit though? I know you ended up going to D2, but like you mentioned that you got some other offers. Like, did you do any like official visits? What schools did you were potentially interested in you?
So I got I got a lot of bizarre offers. I got offered from first visit I ever went on was to Barry College, not Barry in Miami, Barry, the NAIA in Georgia.
Never heard of
And
it.
I went with my dad and we were at the perfect game tournament
Yeah.
and we literally left the game and went straight to the campus to go check it out. And I was like, all right, this is cool, but I wasn't really sold on it.
Yeah.
Those coaches were nice and everything. I got offered from where else did I get offered from? Jeez, a JUCO there tried to get me to go. Lynn or not Lynn, Canisius College up in Buffalo, Hartford. They offered me as well, and South Alabama. That was the most interesting one because it was out of nowhere. I had never heard of it before. But when I started like researching and looking into it, it's unbelievable at baseball.
Okay.
Our first rounder of my draft class, Travis Swaggerty, he's from there. So it was definitely like eye opening, like to get an offer from a place like that out of nowhere. It was pretty cool. And then, but like I said, when the decisions came down to it, I was like, you know what, I'm never going to play professional baseball.
Yeah.
I should just go to the good education.
So what did you major in?
Business, just normal business,
Typical,
nothing
yeah.
fancy. By the end of my sophomore year, I was like, I'm not going to use this thing ever.
Yeah. No, that makes
Hopefully.
sense. I mean, right? Yeah, fingers crossed, knock on wood.
Yeah, I got one semester left, and I really don't want to go back for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, that's not that bad though. One semester, I talked to a guy who got drafted out of Louisville, and his whole first year in rookie ball, he was taking his online classes so that he can finish
Rollins is too small. Rollins is too small. They don't offer that.
Interesting. Okay.
They offered it actually, that's kind of a lie. They offered it during 2020 in the fall, and I was going to do it.
Like COVID reasons. They don't.
Yeah, I was going to do it. And then my coaches with the Pirates were like, no, we're going to have something. Like, don't go back to school. And I was like, okay. And I didn't. And nothing ever happened. So I kind of missed out on an opportunity, but it is what it is.
So how was your college experience? And like, was your team pretty good? You mentioned your catcher got drafted.
So we had a lot of guys drafted. We had like, I think 7 players drafted that I played with.
Okay.
Really good talent. Really, really good talent. We just could not figure it out on the field.
Oh.
We had Chris Corbett drafted by the Giants. Whit Drennan drafted by the Astros. Whit Drennan, by the way, got drafted by the Astros, and the big league pitching coach Brent Strom, who's now with the Diamondbacks, he was the one that was like, "Yo, you need to draft this kid." Still to this day, one of the best sliders and curveballs I've ever seen in my life. So let's see. Chris went to the Giants. Whit Drennan to the Astros. Brian Auerbach signed a free agent deal with the Phillies. Who else? Jimmy Robbins is with the Blue Jays. I'm with the Pirates. Garrett Leonard's with the Pirates. And there's one more guy. Oh, and then Anthony Travato signed with Indy Ball for a little bit, and Cameron Ank signed with the Rockies. So we had the pitching. We had the pitching. We had the arms. We had some really good talent in Chris's class. I got one. There was one guy who didn't sign, who I thought was talented enough too. But like I said, it was damn impressive the talent we had there. We just never could put it together. My junior year, our whole rotation and our best 3 bullpen arms all went on to play pro ball, and we lost 19 games in a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you weren't good.
No, we were not good. It was a really tough season.
Who was like your guys' biggest rival in for like Rollins? Like were like you guys like, this is the game we got to get it up for?
I wouldn't say we really had a rival because everyone just kind of beat up on us. It was nice in the beginning of the year. We would schedule these really bad Northeast teams, and they would come down. We'd kick the crap out of them, send them back up north, and then we go play the teams in Florida, and they would just laugh at us and just smack us around.
Yeah. Did you ever play Tampa? I get that.
Oh yeah, Tampa.
Right? Tampa's like they dominate every year, right? Like they're always in like
yeah. If you want to talk about sign stealing scandals, oh my god, they know every single pitch you're going to throw the entire game. And it's not like cameras or anything. They just they see your grip, they see the catcher signs, they see something, and they are like, okay, it's on a fastball.
Yeah, that team is always like they always produce talent, and like I've talked to some guys who've gone there, and I talked to a guy who left Notre Dame and went there because he was Brandon Kennard. I don't know if you know him. He ended up getting undrafted, signed by the Brewers but with COVID and everything, he wasn't drafted.
Gotcha.
But he was there. He would have been 18 or 19.
Gotcha. Yeah. That whole Tampa team was always good. Like they were always pumping out ridiculous prospects left and right. It was never a fun time to go play them.
Yeah, no, for sure. So then you get drafted though. Like, at what point, like you're, not if, but when, like at what point did you realize like, okay, I'm gonna get drafted? And like, were there any other teams kind of like interested in you? I know like you do the whole questionnaires and all that. Like how many teams had they contacted you?
The moment where I knew I was going to get drafted was the end of my sophomore year. I had a really good start. The first 5 games were good. The next 5 games were terrible. And then the last 5 games of the season that I pitched in, I went like, I think I struck out 45 guys in a 5-game span and walked 2. Mm-hmm. And once I did that, I was like, okay, I got this. I'm like, I figured it out. And that was against, like that was all conference play. So it was all really good teams, and I was pitching much better. So kind of from that moment, I was like, all right, I got this. And then, junior year happens, and I killed myself with the stress of like worrying about like, got to throw harder, got to throw nastier stuff, got to do this, that. And it just got in my head, and I didn't have as good of a junior year as I wanted. Still was lucky enough to get drafted by the Pirates, but during that season, I think I got contacted by 25 of 30 teams. Okay. Probably had around 10 meetings with, sit-down meetings with teams.
What are those meetings like? I've always been kind of curious. Like, what kind of questions do they ask you, and like how does it? Is it pretty like just laid back, or is it?
There's a whole range of them. So there's the classic baseball guys that are awesome. Yeah, they'll sit down and be like, "Hey, dude, like you're the like blah blah blah, talk shop, just shoot the shit, whatever." Then there's the guys that are like, I don't want to say this in a mean way, but like the older guys that they've been around the game for a while.
Sure.
Like I sat down to meet with one of them and was like, "Hey, so like, what's something I should work on better?" And he's like, "Oh, I think you throw like too many pitches." And I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, not like number of pitches, like just like I would waste pitches during the game. And the one game he saw me in, I went like 8 innings. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. And then there's the tech guys, the analytical guys that will come meet with you, and they sit there and they have a script of questions, and they go, okay, question one, what do you like about baseball? Like, it was just
Yeah.
really bizarre, like, interviews, and I was just like, dude, just talk to me like a human being. What are we doing? Um, so there's a whole range of them. But my favorite ones were the ones where they were just straight baseball dudes, and you could talk and shoot the shit and just like hang out and enjoy talking to them. And that's how the Pirates one went. So I really liked the Pirates guy from the start. Nick Presto is my signing scout, and that was a pretty cool experience. But going into draft day itself, there was 3 teams I knew. I knew they wanted me. The Mets, the Pirates, and the Blue Jays. And the Mets, and I talked to my agent before the draft and said, like, all right, my number is going to be like this number.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, don't budge from it at all, or they will keep bringing it down.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Mets, I told the Mets my number. They hit me with, how's X sound? And I said, nope. And that was one of the scariest moments of my life.
Yeah.
Because it was
what round
during,
was that? Was that a different round?
I think it was like the 15th round or something like that.
So okay, it was
15th, 4th. It was right before I was going to get drafted. I didn't know. I never was told, like, hey, this round for sure.
Yeah.
Going into that day. But the Mets and the Blue Jays and the Pirates, all 3 of them had texted me saying, like, hey, are you good for X amount? The Mets lowballed it, the Pirates hit it, and the Blue Jays overshot it. And I was like, I am cool with whatever. Just call my agent and we'll figure it out. And I sit at my laptop in the living room with my family. My mom wanted to have a party. She wanted to have people over. And I was like, hell no, you're not having a damn person in this house. Because I was going to freak out if I didn't get drafted. So I watched the first couple rounds that day, because day 3 is just 11 through 40. And it's all off a laptop. It's not on MLB Network or anything. So I was like sitting there kind of panicking. And I watched like the first 2-3 rounds, and I text my buddy. I'm like, dude, I can't watch this anymore, because we were both looking to get drafted that day. And I'm like, I can't watch this. So I shut off my laptop, shut off everything, walked away, like went outside, come back in, just hanging out. My family feels how tense I am, and they're just like trying to relax me. And all of a sudden I get a phone call. I stand up, take it, walk out of the room, and it's my agent going, hey, Pirates are going to take you with the next pick. I go, okay. Walk back in the room. Don't say anything. My dad goes, what was that? I go, nothing. And I looked to my little brother, who's 2 years younger than me. So he was like 19 at the time. And I go, the Pirates are going to take me with their next pick. And he goes, he's like, his eyes get all big and excited. And I didn't even realize he did it at the time, but he set up his phone in the corner of the room to record the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And he got it like perfect. And I'm sitting there staring at the laptop, because I know I'm about to get called. And I go, Mom, come here. And she goes, what? And I go, look. And I point, and it's my name on the screen. And she starts screaming and yelling. And my dad comes over, and he's like, oh my God. They're jumping up and down, going nuts. And it was a really cool moment. And I seriously, I should probably tell my brother thank you again for recording that, because I haven't told him thank you for that for a while.
Yeah, no, that's incredible that he was able to catch it. And like I've had guys on, and like it's funny how many guys won't have draft parties. They're just like, look, I'm gonna go out golfing, I'm gonna go game with my guys. Like I'm not gonna even focus on it, because it is stressful, right? You don't know.
Oh yeah.
In baseball draft, I was actually talking on the phone to an agent today, a buddy of mine who's actually a baseball agent. And like we were talking about the draft, because he has like 7 or 8 guys who are probably getting drafted this year. And I'm like, it's crazy how baseball draft is so different compared to like the NBA draft or the NFL draft. Like baseball, there's so many like variables going into a draft. Like you just never know when you're gonna get selected and all that. So I can't even imagine the stress that is.
I did not help myself that week. I didn't sleep at all. It was so bad.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stress that goes in. The difference though with the NBA and the NFL is like, who is I don't even follow the NFL. Who's the first pick overall this year?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I'm a Raiders fan. We didn't have a first round pick.
Huh?
I'm a Raiders fan, and we didn't have a first round pick. We traded it for Devontae Adams. So I wasn't Usually I will watch it. Because,
Yeah. I'm a Jets fan, so I just kind of like call me when we're good.
yeah.
But yeah, whoever gets drafted, all the guys drafted in the first round are going to be in the league this year. Like they're going to be day one. They're going to be starting in the NFL. With baseball, it's maybe they'll make it.
Yeah, low ball or rookie ball. Low A, high A, double A. Do you ever get guys or girls or people who ask you like, okay, you're a baseball player now, like,
yeah,
but then you got to explain to them like, yeah, but I'm with the
Yeah.
Pirates,
yeah,
but I'm in double A or triple A. I'm not necessarily actually with the organization because like I'm not even a baseball player, and I'll have to explain that to people. Like, look, I know a guy, but he's not with the Angels. He's
on his way.
and
Yeah, he's on his way to being it. Yeah, that's a really fun thing to explain in a loud bar to people. You're like, no, I'm like gonna be there. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute, and I'll be there. Speaking of which, actually, I hate to mention this, but shout out Jack Sawinski for hitting a home run off of someone probably really good on the Dodgers today. So shout out to him. He just hit it, and I got the notification, so I wanted to give a little shout out to him.
Is he one of your guys? Or?
Yeah, we played together here in Altoona last year.
Oh, he's with the Pirates.
Yes. He
just got called up, right?
A couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Great guy.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, it's always fun to try to explain that to them. I'm like, just in like 2 years, I'll be there. That's what I always say. Just give me like 2 years. No matter what year it is, I always just say 2 years.
Yeah. No, I get it. So, like I said, this podcast is sponsored by Durham Sports. We talk about, and I might end up being with more than baseball. I talked to Simon. We're still kind of figuring that out. So you and I, like I said, we might be teammates in the podcast world. But I like to talk about the minor league experiences, both good, both bad, to kind of highlight what you guys go through. A lot of like fans, like I've said this before, a lot of fans don't really see the grind, the hustle, like the struggles to get to the majors. They just see the final product.
Yeah.
And they don't see like the path to get there.
Yeah. They don't see how the sausage is made.
Exactly. So I always ask you if you have any funny minor league stories. I want you to start off with your bus story from last week.
Yeah, we were supposed to. You. Yeah, we were supposed to do that podcast. Oh my God, that was a nightmare. So it's 5:00 in Des Moines, Iowa, and we get on the bus. And the plan is we're gonna just drive. It's like 7 hours, something like that, back to Indianapolis, and like that's not that bad of a drive. And we were supposed to get there like midnight. That's not bad at all. Like I get a full night's sleep in my bed. Like it'll be nice. We get on the bus and we drive for about 3 hours, and all of a sudden, and we're on a sleeper bus, which is actually really nice because we all get our own like bed and like cubby and like.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So I'm laying than low A and high A.
Huh?
It's a little different than like low A and high A travel.
Yeah, you don't get those till AAA, which is those are sweet. But I'm just laying in my bed, just kind of hanging out, watching a movie or something, and all of a sudden, like I feel like bump, 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 and like we kind of come to a quick stop. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm like, I poke my head out. I'm like, yo, what's going on? And one of my friends is like, dude, we just popped a tire. I'm like, no, we didn't.
Nice.
I'm like, no, we didn't. He's like, yeah, we did. And we go outside, and sure enough, this tire's popped, just absolutely destroyed. Just shredded. And I'm like, oh my God. And I look, and we are surrounded by nothing but farmland. And I'm like, I don't even want to deal with this right now. So I'm like, they're going to call someone to come fix this. I'm going to go lay down and not care and go back inside, keep, hanging out. Guys have some drinks. We're just kind of hanging out, chilling. And a couple hours pass, and we're like, yo, what is going on? Like, are we getting some help? What's happening? And finally, it's like, I want to say it's 10, 11 o'clock, and we get hey, 3 hours. 3 hours, and we get someone here to fix this. I'm like, at least we got someone coming. Whatever, fine. Because it was a Sunday night. Like, I don't expect many truck people to be working on stuff like that on Sunday night. So I'm like, whatever. We're all start to realize, we're hungry. Like, we got to get some food. And we look at Uber Eats, nothing. We look at Grubhub, nothing. We look at like anything, and we're like, yo, we can't get anything here. Finally, someone realizes we can do only thing you can get is Taco Bell off of Grubhub. So me and two other guys, we put in like we got ourselves something, but then we also bought like a cravings box or something that feeds like 8 people, and we bought a ton of Taco Bell. And we have these Grubhub drivers just showing up on the side of the road, bringing us all this food. And we fed we fed the boys, we fed the bus driver, fed everybody, and we were all pumped. And finally, someone pulls up and is like going to help us. I'm like, all right, sweet. I ate my food, like finish my beer. I go lay in my bed. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna fall asleep. I will get there when we get there. I don't even care anymore. And I fall asleep and wake up a couple hours later, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, we're moving. Like this is awesome, and knock out immediately after. 2 hours pass, and I wake up and I'm like kind of like slowly, like half awake. I'm like, why are we not moving? I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are we not moving? And I look around, I poke my head out, no one's awake. And I look at my phone. We moved 1 mile down the road. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no way. And I look and it's like 4:30 in the morning, I think, at this point. I'm like, you gotta be joking me. So I go outside to get some fresh air and look around. I'm like, all right, there's the bus driver down there with the attendant. Like, let's go see what's happening. Walk down there and either I know either I know absolutely nothing about cars and trucks and buses, or he was telling me spells from Harry Potter because I actually had no idea what he was telling me. I asked him, he's like, yeah, well, there's something and that's not working. And I'm like, I go, I'm too tired. What are we fucked? And he's like, yes, we're fucked. I'm like, oh my God. And I look and I see another bus behind us. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys got us another bus? And he goes, no, that's the coaches. I go, what? And he's like, yeah, they broke down as well. And once they got fixed, they didn't want to leave you guys behind. And my manager comes out of the coach's bus and is like, hey, Brad, we're gonna have everybody take their stuff off of the first bus and put it on our bus. And then we're gonna drive the rest of the way back. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And it's like 5 in the morning, and I grab my bag, put it on the coach's bus, and we start driving. And the second we take off, I touch my pocket and I go, oh my God, I forgot my wallet. So now I'm freaking out about my wallet, and we make the rest of the trek back. I think we got back at like 10 a.m. the next day, and there wasn't enough beds on that bus, so I just sat in a leather chair for like 5-6 hours. I felt even worse for my manager. He stood for the entire drive because we ran out of seats, so he just stood. But yeah, we just did that, and then we got back at 10 in the morning, and I think you messaged me, and I'm like, dude, I gotta go to bed. I didn't sleep last night, so
That's
yep,
crazy.
that was nuts. And then I got sent to Altoona the next day. That was just it was a lot going on.
Wow. So how far is like geographically? Like, did you have to go back to, like, so when you get sent to AA, like how does that work? Like with living arrangements and stuff? They're just like, this is where you're gonna stay, or
We
you're
have enough
your own.
apartments here in
Okay.
Altoona. They have a really good setup here. It's we have like 9 apartments in a row with like five rooms each. So
Okay.
there's always enough room, even if there's injured guys, even if there's like a temporary call up or something.
Mhm.
There's always enough room. So Tuesday, yeah, I got told I'm going to AA, packed my bag, went to my apartment, packed up my apartment, shoved it in my car, drove 6 hours to meet the team in Erie, Pennsylvania, and played the rest of the week, played Sunday, and then drove back here and unpacked last night. So
Wow, that's crazy. So you were able to get Taco Bell in the middle of like Iowa, you said?
no, I think that was in Illinois,
Illinois, like, but like in the middle of nowhere. Like you're just
middle of absolutely nowhere. Just like it was just straight farmland next to us.
wow. Taco Bell
Yeah.
came in clutch though. I'm not gonna lie.
That shout out Taco Bell. No
Shout out.
free ads, but shout out Taco Bell.
Yeah, they better pay me for this one. But
Yeah.
so is that your craziest like travel experience, or have you ever had like any other ones where you're like this almost topped that, but this other experience was like, dude, like I have
Not that I can remember. Um that was pretty bad.
yeah.
Um
I think that's the worst one I've heard so far. Like I've heard where like buses broke down and then like they'll fix it or they'll But like your story,
Yeah.
like that may be like the poster like story for like what I move moving
I
forward.
just I just couldn't believe it was just
Yeah,
things kept on happening. Like
yeah. Did I lose you? Oh, there
hello?
you
You got me?
are. Oh, no, I got you back.
Sweet.
You, yeah.
All right, cool. No, yeah, that's sort of was like, no way this is happening. And then it was, oh no way. Kept spiraling. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything that comes close to that. Thank
Have you
God.
ever gone to a
Hopefully we
city
don't
like?
have one.
Yeah, no, for sure. Knock on wood. Have you ever traveled to a city and you get off the bus? You're like, where am I? Like, I have no idea where I'm at. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of
What is
those.
like what is like the most random spot you've been in so far?
Um, hmm.
Or like the most like middle of nowhere where you're like, there's nothing here, maybe a subway, and like
There was okay. So we went to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania last summer, and
okay.
Harrisburg itself is like a decent place. But
Hmm.
we were staying at a hotel 25 minutes away from the town. It was just in the middle of nowhere. It was literally a hotel, gravel lots, and then a sheets. That was it. Like nothing else even remotely close. And we were just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So we ate sheets all week and played terribly and didn't really have much of a choice. Um, that's definitely one of the bad ones. I mean, rookie ball, like advanced rookie that I can't remember the name of the league. The Tennessee, the Appalachian League.
Yeah, Appalachian League.
The Abbey League. That was a really brutal one. That was definitely one of the tougher leagues to play in, but I was fortunate. And I was only there for not even a full, like I was there for 2 weeks, but I wasn't even there for the full 2 weeks because I pitched the first game. I pitched the game when I got there. My grandmother passed away, flew to the funeral, flew back, pitched another game, and then I was promoted out of there.
Nice.
So it was a quick, like I think I was there for like 9 days total.
Okay.
Or I was on the team for 9 days total, but then I only was there for an actual like 6 days.
Okay. It's not just that terrible then. I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, for sure.
So like I asked this question a lot too. Like, have you had any like funny like fan interactions? Because a lot of these, minor league, like, and I've been to games, minor league stadiums too, and like some of them are empty, and you can hear everyone. Or after the game, they come up to you or ask you to sign random things. I have guys who tell me kids ask them to sign their foreheads or ask them like the most random thing sometimes. Like,
Yeah, there's always the card guys who got the big binders full of cards. And I've just resorted to giving them crap because I'm a 17th round guy. Like no one's like dying for my signature, but so I'll always just sign just to do it, be nice. And I always give them crap. I'm always like, oh, how much are you gonna sell this one for? Like whole $5. And they're always like, no, it's for my personal collection. I'm like, yeah, sure.
you ever have like repeat guys where you see them like every game of the series and you're like, dude, I got you like 3 times already.
No. Yeah, see, no one's after my signature that bad.
You
Yeah,
never know.
which is nice. I have started messing with people because have you heard of O'Neal Cruz?
Mm,
He's
is
he's gonna be really, really good. He's in AAA with us.
okay.
People are always after his signature, and I always like no matter. Usually he's like in the locker room still, and I'll just walk by like, "Ah, you missed O'Neal, sorry guys," and they're like, "Ah," and they all like walk away
Yeah.
after that. I'm trying to think if I did. So it's not. This wasn't a bad thing at all. It was actually a really sweet thing. Last season I made very good friends here in Altoona. Like just this one elderly woman and this one elderly couple. Every day I would go out to the game, talk to them quickly, like just quick chat, and just we would guess who was going to hit a home run that day, and like that was our ritual. We did every single home game, and it was nice to them all season. At the very end of the year, the last game of the year is on my birthday, and they are like, "We want to get you a birthday present." And so they give me this giant bag. I'm like, "Oh my god, what's in this?" And I pull it out, and it's a giant tin can version of myself with my face taped onto it, with my number on the back, with perfectly. Like they painted the whole thing white, so it looks like our jerseys, and they took like the ice cream like hat thing and they put
Yeah.
it on the top of it, so it looks perfectly like our actual uniforms. It was awesome.
Was it just like an empty tin can, or was it like a tin can of like
It was like
popcorn or
so
something?
like the chest was a big tin can, and then the arms were thinner tin cans, and then the legs were like the same kind of tin cans, and like it's all melded together and like has joints and moves around. It
Oh,
was
okay.
sick.
So they like welded it together. Like they took
Yeah,
some time in. That's
yeah,
incredible.
it was pretty cool.
That's crazy. Okay. That's not bad. That's pretty cool. I mean, I love to see a picture sometime though. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty that sounds pretty sweet. Um so question though for you.
Yeah.
So obviously, like I said, like in these games, you can hear fans talking back to you, especially if you're in the bullpen. I don't know how your specific stadium is, but like here in like in Appleton, like fans will just line up on top of they can see and talk
Yeah.
to the guys in the bullpen. Do you ever have any guys chirping at you or like just talking to you or maybe like any funny like chirps that you
Nothing that really stands out too much. I've started giving the kids crap. Like, um, I don't know why this is a thing, but they always go, "Can I get a toss up? Can I get a toss up?" I don't know where that language even came about. I've never once said, "Can I get a toss
yeah
up?" in my life. It's, "Hey, can I get a ball?"
yeah
And this, you can clip this as the segment of advice on how to get a baseball. Say please.
yeah
Ask once. Say please. Don't keep. If you keep badgering us, it's definitely going to be a no. And if we ignore you, just say, "Hey, if you get a foul ball, could I possibly get it?" That is going to go a mile too. But once in a while, if I feel like it, I'll ask the kid some like trivia, and it's always something because I'm a nut and I like to study up on all that stuff. Um, so I'll usually ask the kids some trivia, and I go, "No cheating, you can't look it up," and they go, "Oh, okay." And then they run right to their parents and grab their parents' phone and look it up on their phone, and then run back to me, and they're like, "The answer is da da da," and um, they usually, yeah, I feel like I get a kick out of that, and they do too. So nothing too crazy. Trying to think if there's any good story. I mean, there was the time last summer when our fans fought the Erie third baseman. That was fun.
all right all right well, you can't just say that. Give me some background here. Give me what's going on.
So, um, for whatever, it's probably Thirsty Thursday.
Yeah,
Fans are getting
makes
in
sense.
hand, and they're chirping the third baseman for Erie, chirping him all game, just badgering him, and the game ends, and I think we lost. Yeah, we lost, and our whole team goes into the clubhouse. I'm grabbing like a ball of bags or a bag of balls from the bullpen. I'm walking in. I'm the last guy in, and I see like the guy go over there, and I ended up talking to one of their guys on their team and got the full story. They're chirping him the whole game. He's like walking by at the end of the game. The guy's like, "Hey, can you sign this ball?" The guy that was chirping
Yeah.
the whole game,
Oh,
and the third baseman's like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, can you sign this ball for me and my kid?" And the guy goes, "I'll sign your ball." He takes it and he throws it over the fence,
yes.
just launches it. And I'm like, "Oh my God. Like, what just happened?" And the fan did not like that at all. So he grabs him through the netting and starts punching him, throwing punches. Boom, boom, boom. The Erie player grabs him and starts throwing punches as well. And the whole Erie team just runs out there and they're just attacking the fans, and the fans are throwing beer, and it's just got totally out of hand. And I'm standing there just by myself, like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" The whole team had gone inside. I go into the locker room and I go, guys, they're fighting. And they're like, "What?" And a couple guys ran out there. We go like watch, and they're just all like still screaming at each other. It was kind of funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that you have given me some of the best stories, and like I'm gonna clip that too because that's that is an
Appreciate it.
electric just atmosphere of like fan versus team, and like
Yeah. Thirsty Thursday will do that to you.
oh yeah, and like for sure, and like you talk about like dollar beer nights or whatever it is that minor league stadiums have all the time, and you get all these um fans who once they start, as the game progresses, they get a little bit bolder and bolder with what they say and all that stuff.
Yeah, they get aggressive.
Yeah, I bet. So, obviously now you're in Double A. The Pirates organization, like, give us like not me as a fan I'm actually a Brewers fan, so but I sorry, we'll talk to you. And but give maybe Pirates fans who are listening, give us some like something to be excited about. Like how is the farm system? Maybe a couple of names to like look out for who are just going to come up maybe in the next this year or the next year.
Yeah, we're gonna win the World Series. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna beat the Brewers for the NL Central. Where you guys are gonna cry. It's gonna be fun. I mean, it's honestly insane. Like I I try to like keep my head in reality, but like it's really some of the best hit players I've ever seen in my life. Are in this organization. O'Neill Cruz, Castro, Contreras, Mason Martin, Cal Mitchell, Jack Swinsky, Hunter Stratton. I mean, Yuri, De Los Santos. Like the list just goes on forever. Like we have a full stacked rotation. We have a full stacked field. Jiwan Bay is the fastest human being I've ever seen in my life. Like his speed is they comp it to the same as Trey Turner.
Oh wow, okay.
He's a great hitter, and he's like struggling to find like a way to play right now because the whole infield is stacked, the whole outfield is stacked. Like he learned outfield so he can try to get some reps, and it's still like, dude, when is he gonna get out there? Because it's unreal how many guys we got. So I think it's going to be a really really fun couple years for Pirates fans coming up, and really really miserable years for Brewers fans coming up.
We'll see. We will see. We will see. Obviously, anytime, and I hope you make your major league debut this season. Hopefully, it's in Milwaukee. Best scenario, so I can kind of go and kind of watch you pitch. I'll be unbiased. You know, I'll be like, all right, that's my guy. I'm gonna watch him pitch. Hopefully, you do well. Any other game, I'm like, whatever. You know, Brewers all the way. But hopefully, you know, this season we see you back in AAA. We see you get your call up. If not now, like next year at least. But I'm hoping this season. I mean, like I said, you were in AAA. You got a taste of that. What is the biggest jump in talent, I guess, or like competition wise that you've seen since you've been all levels so far?
Yeah.
Was it like from high A to double A or from like double A to AAA?
Honestly, man, that's a tough question. I do want to say real quick. I think I think Cole Tucker and Mitch Keller. Me and those two guys are the only guys that have played at every single team in the Pirates system because the Black Bears and the Bristol Pirates are gone now. So I think all three of us are the only three to play at all levels because most guys skip the GCL. I was in the GCL for a while, so I get that little. I get to wear that little badge of honor. Yeah. It's such a slow like climb. It really is. Because the GC like when you go from college ball to GCL, you're like, whoa, this is completely different because you got these 18-year-old Dominicans that are just hunting fastball at all times.
Or throwing 103.
Yeah. The arm side of it is different, but like for pitching, like I threw fastballs in the zone. And it was just whack at all times. So I had to figure out how to throw my breaking stuff in the zone, my changeup in the zone, all that. But then it's a slow tick. It's all the guys that were good in the GCL get to go to advanced rookie. All the guys that are going to advanced rookie go to short A to low A to high A, double, and then it keeps on going. I think it's hard to compare because high A was 2019 for me, and then double A was 2021 for me because I missed 2020. Yeah. I would say that's a decent jump, but I think honestly what it comes down to, and I hope if there's any young players listening to this podcast, it's confidence. That's really all it is. Like last year I was scared to death on the mound. Like I was like, please get me through this outing safely. Mm-hmm. And this year I'm like, I don't care who I'm facing. Give me the ball. I will get them out. Like I seriously just give me the ball. I'm going to throw a sinker. They're going to hit a ground out and they're going to hit a ground ball. If it's at somebody, cool. If it's not, that's a shame, but I'm cool with it either way. So, I think, yeah, as long as you have the confidence to be there, and like I said at the beginning of the podcast, doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You got to tell yourself you belong.
Right.
That's a really good rhyme. Damn.
Yeah, look at you, Dr. Seuss over
Yeah,
here.
there you go.
I
No
got
matter
a
if you're right or wrong, you just got to believe you belong. There
yeah.
you
I might. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna have to write that in the bio here.
go.
Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming on. Obviously, I'm excited to see your career moving forward. Again, like best case scenario, you debut in Milwaukee. I can see you pitch. We'll record an episode live at some point. But yeah, definitely have to have you back on, and we'll kind of see how it goes from there. But I do appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, Francisco.
All right, man. You have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too.